Okay, and hello, and I am back with a replay from Trap Shit. Nice name. What's his full name? Trapshipped Accu something. Yeah. He plays pretty decently. He does 307,000 damage in his Grosser Kurfurst. He is in a T8-10 battle, and he is on Brothers. I do like this map. It sort of reminds me of the lower tier. What's that one? The massive big islands. What's it called? Begins with P. I've completely mind blanked it. But anyway, I'm sure you know which one I mean. Anyway, yeah. So we're in the Grosser Kurfurst, and he is moving straight away, which is nice of him. I have played the Grosser Kurfurst in a few battles on PTS, albeit it was PTS before. I think it was patch 0.5.9, and I really enjoyed it. It was super fun. It was a good brawling ship, get right in there, tanks and damage, and you could just abuse your way. One thing I did find is that the rear turrets didn't have fantastic angles, so you did have to show quite a lot of broadside in order to get all your guns onto another battleship, for example. But that isn't always the case. Something you always need to do with the Grosser Kurfurst, seeing as you are usually in the midst of a big group of boats, and your back turrets may actually be firing at something completely different. So bear that in mind. So, Trapship accurate spots a Bismarck, and it's pretty much broadside. He fires off his big guns over towards him, and let's see how this happens. That's alright, that's alright. 8,000 damage, not too bad, not too bad. It looks like his team is moving forwards really nicely. He's going forwards, and it looks like they're going to be able to take the upper hand in D. It's always a risk on this particular map whether you should be aggressive or not. Because if you are aggressive, you are in the middle of nowhere. So it's not always the best thing to do. Trapship takes a decent shot at the Montana, which went invisible. He did a decent amount of damage. Well, not really, about 3k actually. Yeah, there's my maths for you. Anyway, there's a lovely Kutuzov showing a lovely broadside. Let's see if he can really deal some proper damage to this guy. Although, interestingly, he doesn't lead it on very much, unless that's just a replay bugging out. But he has spotted that it was slowing down, so he was adjusting for that. Unfortunately, only one penetration so far. He's had some decent hits. Well, not decent hits, but he had decent opportunities, but RNG hasn't necessarily favoured him. What I've also noticed is that he hasn't really been focused yet so far. No one's really fired at him yet, although saying that, those shells look like they're perfect for him. For the 5,000 damage, and fire, and a whole load of hits. Interestingly, he pops the repair party, even though he hadn't lost very much damage, which I find a little bit strange. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage, shells coming towards him. But there we go, 2 citadels, 56k, doing not too badly. Looks like there's some sort of British cruiser probably throwing some AP at him somewhere, probably hidden in some smoke. Trapship moves behind the island to give himself some cover, meaning that he is not going to be focused anymore. He goes out of detection range and puts himself in a half-decent position. His team is on the losing side at the moment, however they have the advantage of caps. Although the enemy is trying to capture D off the allied team. Oh, would you look at that? You can just see there is a Minotaur just completely throwing AP at the Montana right there. Okay, it seems as if it's... I'll call him Trap. I don't want to say Trap shit anymore because some people might get offended. Trap seems to be up against most of the team here, against half the team on the allied side. This means they're completely outnumbered, and it looks like the Trap's team is moving back, is retreating, is playing a more defensive game. Oh look, a naked Montana. Maybe he just forgot to put some camo on. There we go. A full salvo out at the Montana. Let's see what he can do to this Montana. He's angling nicely against all the team. What is it? 2 citadels. Not too bad. 39,000 damage. So he's already up 111,000 damage, and it's just gone over. Well, it's just gone over 5 minutes. You know, nearly 6 minutes. Again, he pops his repair party. I personally think a little bit too early, but at least it heals the damage. He's got them. They are there to be used, so might as well use them. And he fires at the Montana again. And what does he do this time? Only 8,000 damage. Here we go. Hopefully he can take down this Montana. Let's see how this goes. And it looks like the Montana's angling a little bit. Hence only 7,000 damage. Not too bad today, not too bad though. Although it looks like the enemy team is really lemming training towards D. Although they're not actually able to take D yet. Wisely, Trap pops his Hydro, which of course is because there is a lot of smoke over there, and here's a BB. And then what happens when you're a BB and there's smoke nearby? There's probably torpedoes coming at you. It's also helpful for the other guys on his team because it helps spot all those torpedoes well in advance. It should mean they should not be hit too much. That said, looks like the Amagi got hit anyway. That said, I guess it was quite a difficult thing to do, but yeah. So far, Trap's team is 3 boats to 1 down, but they have significant advantage in caps, which is keeping their point score up. And what is that? A nice broadside cruiser there. Let's see what they can do. Hopefully it'll be a nice citadel or something. Waiting for it. Nope. Must have missed. Never mind. 4 boats to 1 down. And he pops his damage repair party once again. He is definitely tanking a lot of damage here, which is decent. It seems as if the guys who did go towards D did not fare too well, in the sense that they're all dead. Well, there's a couple of boats left. But the guys who walked around the back of them is going to flank them, and this means that the enemy team is going to be trapped somewhat. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Aha. What do we have there? A Minotaur that's gone and crashed into a wreck. Let's see what he can do with those. Ah, RNG, you do not favour him this time. Okay, let's see if we can take down this Minotaur. Minotaur is such a fun ship, by the way. I absolutely love that ship. But when you are being targeted by battleships, you are an easy target. The one thing that saves you is your weak armor, in some respects. Because you don't always get the citadels, you just get those annoying overpens, just like Trap is getting right now. Trap is really moving up to the northern side of the map, but soon the enemy should be dispersed out a little bit somewhat. But Trap's team is really losing on ships now. It is now 6 ships down versus 2 ships on the enemy team. This would be an impressive win if they manage to win from here. The only saving grace is having the 3 caps. The enemy team is not capping. 2 to 7 looks like it's going to be an almost whitewash here. This is a tough game. As you can see, someone on the enemy team does appreciate the need for caps, although unlikely that anyone's going to get them, because that's not what people do. If this Minotaur does decide to move over towards B cap, there's going to be a good opportunity to absolutely wreck the Minotaur. Hopefully the Minotaur is killed. Looks like a decent salvo here. Oh, 7,000 damage. Minotaur can do 7,000 damage in 1 salvo against you every 2 seconds. That is so unfair. But the next shot will be on the Minotaur. He looks like he's smoking up. All Trap has to do is just keep his bearing. And this should be a decent shot. And hopefully he'll take down the Minotaur. There we go, a nice citadel. Right at the end of his life. Even though that Trap's team is down 7 boats versus their 3, Trap has done 168,000 damage, and as you can see in the top corner, it's not all against big battleships. A lot of it is actually against cruisers, which is significant because that damage is worth more, so to speak. Wisely, there is a hipper that is following Trap. He's using Trap as a meat shield, as he is a much bigger target, which means that the enemy is going to be targeting Trap rather than the slightly harder to hit hipper, which is a wise play, rather than just YOLOing in there and just dying for no reason. Trap's team still has the advantage in caps, which is very impressive, since that there are so many boats that could just go off and take caps. I mean, I don't know what the DDs are doing on the enemy team. They're clearly not doing their job, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Not a bad salvo on the Bismarck, of course no citadels, but 6 penetrations and a whole load of damage, which is very useful. Now, it looks like Trap is deciding that he's going to move back towards the enemies and see what he can do, because there are so few boats, you might as well just YOLO in there now. It's now getting to that point where you have to do something. You can't play this defensive game. Another citadel on the Montana. It seems like these naked Montanas do love getting citadels. So far he's got 6 citadels and 200,000 damage, which is not bad at all. One thing that Trap is not doing is he's not, at the moment, I'm sure he will soon, he's not doing that kind of brawling. Although it would be very unwise to brawl against 4 battleships and some DDs mixed in there too. So I guess sometimes you can't always brawl, which isn't a bad thing. At least there's lots of opportunity to shoot the enemies. Looks like Trap is wanting to kill the Bismarck. It's pretty angled. It's a difficult choice, but the Bismarck, if it is dead, it can't shoot at him. So it's a bit of a gamble here. Let's see how it happens. Only 2,000 damage. That's a bit unlucky. It looks like Trap wants to move his rear turrets around to try and get the full amount of damage onto him. He is going to be tanking a lot of damage from these 2 Montanas, which have both been abused by Trap himself. Right, here we go. This must be the kill shot. This must be the kill shot. Oh, how unfair is that? 4 bouncers. That is desperately unfair. Okay, he popped his last damage repair. Let's see what he can do here. Ooh, 12,000 damage from the Montana. That's a bit difficult. It looks like this Montana is going to be the easy shot here. Put that right into the waterline, and there we go. 2 citadels, 20,000 damage, and sinks that. Now all he has to do is attack the Bismarck. Somehow, Trap's team has pulled it back, and they're 200 points ahead, even though they were 7-2 ships down. Trap's now doing what the Kurfurst does best, which is tanking a lot of damage. And here we go, another broadside Montana. Let's see what he does to this Montana. Nice and broadside, but unfortunately, no citadels. Now the Montana is now moving around to angle against Kurfurst. And there are only 2 guys left on Trap's team. And in theory, Trap's team should absolutely lose this. There's 247,000 damage done so far, 8 citadels. Those citadels are really racking up. Now, Trap is just biding his time here. He's waiting to get a decent shot, and let's see how this works. 5,000 damage. It's doable. It's doable. Not the best. At least Trap has the advantage of getting better secondaries, and oh, some bounces there. He is on fire, but he's not popping his damage repair party, or just the repair. Gets the smoke, and here we go. Moving around, giving a broadside, and 3, 2, 1, and there we go. 4 citadels. Oh, that is impressive. That is really impressive. So he's now got 12 citadels and 300,000 damage. All he's got left is on this flank here is the Ibuki. And he is not broadside. He is full straight on. Soon, this is he's going to behind the island. Let's see how he does this in this one here. I've got to say, this is an incredible win and, well, incredible loss for the enemy team. They're going to cap out, and he is just telling the Hipper not to die, which is very significant because they can easily win this if the Hipper stays alive. A very, very good play by Trap, and he is placing himself perfectly behind the island in order not to die. And they're going to win this game by playing the strategy. This was an amazing game and a terrible loss for the enemy team. I think the DDs just didn't play properly. Anyway, thank you very much, and that's all for now.